evaporation, when the sun comes on it. Plants take up some of the water in their own process. When there is transpiration, some of it is taken up into the atmosphere, then it goes back to form the cloud. That's just the simple description of the water cycle. Now, the circulation of water in an ecosystem is referred to as water cycle. I've said that earlier. Then water evaporates from the surfaces of water bodies such as rivers, ocean, lakes, soil in the form of vapor. It then rises and cools, condenses and falls back as rain. So when we have water, you use water for various things: cooking, washing, plants use it. So many activities. Then water in the river bodies. So when the sun comes on those things, it takes up the water. So it forms cloud. Now, plants and animals absorb that water from their external environment. The plant takes it up. That water that falls into the soil, the plant takes it up in their own activity. Then most animals also obtain their water from plants or obtain it directly from the water body. Then the animals and plants lose water by respiration, excretion and decay when they are dead. So that is the cycle. They take up the water, it falls back. They take up the water, there is respiration, evaporation and decay, then there is condensation in the atmosphere, then it falls. So it continues on and on like that. Now, what are the uses of water in plants? One, it's a vital constituent of the protoplasm. Then it is a raw material for photosynthesis. Water is a medium of diffusion of gases in and out of the cells of the plants. Then water is used in dispersal in some seeds. It's also used for germination of seed. It is very, very essential. When there is no water, germination does not occur. Then it's a medium of transfer of gametes in mosses and ferns. Then water controls temperature through transpiration and the cooling effect of transpiration. There is the production of new protoplasm for growth in plants. Then the cell TOGO in herbaceous plants is maintained through water. Water is a transporting medium for particles of mineral salts and soluble organic substances. Now, the uses of water in animals. 90% of the protoplasm, tissue fluid, blood and lymph is made up of water. Then it's a medium of transport of nutrients in the body. When there is no water in the body, then nothing is transported actually. Then it is a solvent for removal of excretory products from the body. For instance, ammonia and urea are removed by water. Then it's a component of secretion such as the digestive juice. Then it's a medium of biochemical reactions in the cell, e.g. digestion. Water is a lubricant for external movements in snails and earthworm. Then it controls temperature through sweating. You sweat out, then the temperature of the body is balanced. Then water is useful for the dispersal stages of the larvae in aquatic animals. It also aids movement in the gut, in the vagina, in the synovial fluids of the joints. It also acts as support. For instance, in the amniotic fluid in mama, the fluid that the baby or the fetus in the womb stays in, that's water majorly. Then in the erection of penis, there is a fluid that makes the penis turgid and acts as support. So that is that about the cycle, the nutrient cycles. We've talked about nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, and water cycle. Now we move on to talk about irrigation. That is our next topic, irrigation. Irrigation is the artificial or man-made application of water to soil or land for farming purposes to supplement insufficient rainfall. Rain don't fall in all the parts of the earth at the same time. Then it doesn't fall in every season. There is the rainy season in some places and dry season. So when rain is not available. Rain is not available throughout the year in the part of the earth. In fact, in some places, there are so-called rainy season, the rain available is so scanty. And farming has to be done, else food supply will be in shortage. So what do? Since rain is not available all the year, we use irrigation. Irrigation is the artificial application of water to the soil. Since there is no rain and our plants need to grow, we need to add water. So that is what irrigation is all about. The artificial addition of water to the soil or our land for farming processes to supplement or compensate for insufficient rainfall. Water is the most determinant factor in the growth of crops, and the choice of irrigation depends on availability of water. Is water available? The slope of the land. How is it? Is the land slopy? Is it hilly? Is it in a valley? Is it on a plain ground? The soil type. Is it clayey? Is it loamy? Or is it sandy? Then the type of crop you are cultivating is also what you should consider. The number of times, the number of the season. Is it an annual crop? Is it biennial? How long is it going to take? Does it like water? Does it just take a little water? That is another factor to consider. Then the size of the farmland. Are we using a plot? Is it 10 acres or what? So those are the factors to put in place when you are choosing the irrigation system you want to use. You have various types of irrigation systems. So these factors are what you consider before you make a choice. Okay, this is the particular type of irrigation that I want to use. Then the aims of irrigation, I've said earlier, it is to add water to the soil so that there will be moisture for plant growth. Then irrigation ensures the survival of crops during droughts when there is no rain. When we are not in rainy season, irrigation makes sure that the plants are still smiling with water. Then irrigation cools the soil and the atmosphere, thereby making the environment more favorable for the growth of plants. Irrigation also makes early planting possible. Now, what importance does irrigation have on crop production? One, it softens the soil for easy tillage operation. When there is no water, the soil is hard, sticks together and it's so hard. So putting cutters or even anything in the soil, it's very tedious. But when there is water, it softens up. Have you cultivated or tried to do something on the soil that rain has just fallen probably this morning or even yesterday? You discover that you easily uproot with your hand when the soil has enough moisture. But when it is hard, you find it difficult to pull anything. So it softens the soil for easy tillage operation. Then it provides moisture in the soil for root absorption. The roots of the plant can easily absorb the water. Then it reduces the amount of salt accumulated in the topsoil. When the water being available will dissolve and reduce the concentration of salt in the topsoil, which will be harmful to the crop plant. Then irrigation also cools the soil by reducing the soil temperature during the dry season when the soil temperature is very high. Irrigation increases crop production or productivity and yield. Irrigation also dissolves nutrients for root absorption. It helps in facilitating crop production all year round, whether there is rain or not. We are cultivating. So we have three types of irrigation system: surface irrigation, we have subsurface irrigation, then we have the overhead irrigation. Surface, subsurface, and overhead irrigation. Now, to surface irrigation. In surface irrigation, we get water from rivers, dams, or stream flows along the surface of the farmland. So we can do this by forming a channel or flooding, contour ditch, basin, border dike. So we form a channel from rivers, dams, streams that is along the surface of the farmland. So the land has to have a gentle slope towards the direction of the farmland. So something like this. You have your water here, the water body is here. So your farmland, you have to be somewhere around here, be kind of on a slopey. So water flowing from here can easily flow down to your river. So it's something like that. So water come down from here to here, so your water just flows down. That is when surface irrigation can be used. Now, advantages and disadvantages of surface irrigation. The advantages first, it removes excess water caused by heavy rain, especially in heavy soil. It is easier to construct. It is cheap to establish because you don't have your river is there, so you just you don't have to spend so much. Then it is cheap to establish and maintain. It helps in collection and disposal of surface runoff. So water that is running off can easily get it. Then it prevents accumulation of alkali. Now, the disadvantages of this surface irrigation method is that it cannot be practiced where the land is hilly. That is where you have hill, cannot be practiced. Then it cannot be successful in sandy soil. Volume of water, especially in flooding, may be difficult to control because your farmland is down, just flowing down. So there may be too much water coming in when there is flooding, or when there is excess water. You may have excess water in your farmland. Then some crops may not tolerate heavy flooding. So those are the things you have to consider. If you are planting or cultivating a crop that doesn't really need so much water, then this surface irrigation method will not work for you.